It's February 25th, 2022, and yesterday Etsy announced they're increasing their transaction fee from 5.0% to 6.5% for all sellers. Not great news for those of us that sell on Etsy. What does it do to your profit margins, and do you need to increase your prices? Stick around and let's talk about it. All right, so as I mentioned in the opening, yesterday, February 24th, Etsy announced they are increasing their transaction fee for all sellers on all transactions from 5.0% to 6.5%, effective April 11th. This is the article on Etsy's website that lists out the information. There should be a direct link to this article on your Etsy seller dashboard page at the top. It was there this morning on my page. If it's not there, I'll put a direct link to this article down in the description so you can go check this out for yourself. When we scroll down into the article, that's where they list what is changing, and they state that on April 11th, the current 5% transaction fee will increase to 6.5%. They then go on to say kind of what they're going to do with that extra money that they're taking from us, the Etsy sellers. And they mention things like spending more on marketing is really what it sounds like. We do get advertising if you're opted into offsite ads, but there is already a separate fee that we pay if we make a sale through an offsite ad. So not a whole lot positive here, unfortunately for us. Of course, they're going to put that money to use, but it is taking money away from the bottom line profit that we get on every order. A 1.5 percentage point increase in the fees that we'll experience as sellers on every transaction starting April 11th. So what does this do to your profit margin? Well, it's actually pretty simple. And I do have a calculator tool that may be helpful in general to you that I'll show you in just a second. But because we're taking 1.5 percentage points and adding that to the fee, it basically just takes 1.5 percentage points away from your profit margin. I'll show you exactly what that looks like, how that works. But basically, if your profit margin today was 30% for a t-shirt, then on April 11th forward, your profit margin, if you don't make any changes to your pricing, your profit margin would drop by 1.5 percentage points to 28.5% instead of 30%. And that's basically because instead of it residing down there on the bottom line in your profit, we're going to take 1.5 percentage points and move it up into the transaction fee. So it's really not more complicated than that. So if you know what your profit margin is, just take 1.5 points off of that, and that's what your profit margin will be. Now, if you want something to make it easy for you to see in dollars what that will translate into, I have a calculator. It's just an Excel spreadsheet here that you can use. It's on Google Drive. I'll put a link to it in the description. Just do File, Save As, and save a local copy, and you can use it as much as you want. It's very basic. None of these cells are locked. You can see all the formulas and everything. It just kind of makes it a little bit faster for you to see the impact. So there's 3 columns really to pay attention to: column B, C, and F. Column B is where you enter your current information, and it will tell you what the breakdown of fees and profit is under your current pricing and your current costs with the 5% transaction fee we have today. Column C takes the same information but adjusts that fee to the 6.5% on the transaction fee line that will apply on April 11th. And then column F is really just an extra column that also has the 6.5% fee in it so that you can play around with your pricing, see if you need to adjust your item price or your shipping price to get to the profit margin that you want without having to edit column B. So for example, in column B, if we put in here our item price is $19.99, we don't charge for shipping, so we'll leave that at 0. Item cost, so let's say this is a t-shirt. I put in $7.72, just made up a number. Shipping cost commonly would be $4 if you're using, say, Printify. And you have, I think, Monster Digital and a few other sellers are $4. I think SwiftPOD might be a little more than that. Printful, I think, is still $3.99 on shipping, so basically $4, but you can adjust it to whatever your cost is. So your revenue is $19.99. If you charge for shipping, you can add that up at the top. This will break down your fees. So the listing fee is always 20 cents. Transaction fee is 5% today. That's $1. The payment fee is 3% plus 25 cents. In the US, if you're using Etsy payments, it's slightly different if your shop only accepts PayPal. But I think for most of us, we're just allowing Etsy payments. And you can adjust these formulas as I mentioned. So if you're not in the US and different fees apply to you, just adjust that formula as needed to whatever the Etsy fee is that applies in your country. So it's totaling up the total fees $2.05, total cost $13.77, which leaves a profit of $6.22 and a profit margin of 31.1%. Now, the column to the right, column C, just changes one thing, that fee to 6.5%. You can see that'll increase your total cost by 30 cents, decreases your gross profit by the same 30 cents, and that results in a profit margin of 29.6%, which there's where it kind of illustrates 1.5 percentage points is the decrease in your profit margin. So they've increased the transaction fee 1.5 percentage points, and basically all that does is take that away from your profit margin percent. And so this just helps you see it in dollars if that's helpful to you. And if you want, you can use column F to come over here and say, what would happen if I raised my price by a dollar and said $20.99? Same cost applies. That copies over from column B. You can see you would actually then exceed what your current profit is. Even with the increase in the fee, you would actually get to a 32.5. You just have to, ask yourself whether that's feasible and competitive enough to continue making sales. So it's just a column F you can just play around with so that you don't have to mess with column B to do that comparison. And I just dropped a note in there that this change is effective April 11th, 2022. So again, the link to this document, it's on Google Drive. It's down in the description. Just do File, Save As, save yourself a local copy, and you can use it as much as you want. You can change any of the calculations if you need to because they're different in your country or something like that. But I hope it's helpful. I hope it kind of spells out in dollars and cents for you a little bit more about what this change will do to your profit levels. But if you only really need to know what it does to your profit margin, your percentage, just take the 1.5 points off of what you're currently getting, and that's your answer. So in the end, that is just wanted to take a second and recognize that this is going to impact all of us as Etsy sellers. Certainly not really a positive change for us because anything that removes profit is not helpful to us being a long-term successful business. But at the end of the day, that 1.5% decrease on your profit margin may not be a make or break situation. It just depends on where you were before. If you were making a comfortable 30+% profit margin, like say you're selling mugs and making 40% profit margin, this decrease, it's still not great. You don't love it, but it's not going to make or break the fact that you're still making a good profit margin. You weren't on the verge of losing money or anything like that. If you've priced your products really competitively and you're only making a 15% profit margin, then maybe you want to adjust your prices because 1.5 points being removed from only 15% to start with, that's a significant change. And now you're getting into the territory where if you have other expenses outside of fulfillment cost, you're probably getting close to not making up those expenses when you're getting down into the, very low double-digit profit margin. So just consider that. Check out the link to that calculator in the description if you think that'll help you figure out any adjustments that you need to make to continue making that profit margin that you're looking for. I hope that the explanation was helpful, and here's to a great rest of 2022 with hopefully no more fee increases coming from Etsy for the rest of this year at least. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.